Hello and how's it going? Welcome to another video. This has pretty much been a long time coming, as any of you who've been following me or, well, my story, whatever, my channel or my channels for a while, well, you'd realise that I haven't made a video in a while, and I had a couple of people, might have been two, might have been more than that, might have only been one, but I remember having, well, I've seen one or two messages on my channel, or one on my old channel, I think I got one on this one anyway, about what I've been doing, because it has been a long time since I uploaded a video. It hasn't been a long time since I've made one, because I have been making videos, I just don't upload them. Over half of them get deleted. Probably about 40% of what's left don't really get uploaded. Man, I really need to somehow develop my speech better, because I just keep screwing it up. It's like when I try to make a review on things, because I do reviews and stuff, I just have to do so many takes. But I find that I can talk a lot easier when I don't really have a subject and things. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I still take too long, and that's why I think most people drop off watching after the first 30 seconds, which is really sad for me, but you know, well, it is what it is. Anyway, so it's been quite a long time, and I thought I'd just do a bit of a recap or whatever. It's probably not the right word. A bit of a just explanation about what I've been up to and things like that. So anyway, I've got a few videos that I'm planning on uploading, and I've got a few videos that I plan on making. But yeah, anyway, it's probably been like a year or something like that since I uploaded a video, or maybe not that long, but a few months or so. If you're wondering what in the hell this noise is in the background, if you can hear that, that is my bike. So yeah, I've been push biking lately. Sounds a bit weird, you know, like at my age, you know, but I do still have my car. I've actually got two of them, two BMW convertibles. One of them's in a storage shed with my sister's car at the moment, because it needs work on it, and the other one I drive when I need it. But I go to my, I guess you could say, my work probably at least 6 out of 7 days a week, and I bike there and back quite a bit, unless I have to drop things off. So what I've been doing is, I've got a workplace where I do all my art and stuff like that. So it's part of a building that I go to, and yeah, so am I going to bike through the park or not? I have once at night, and it's like so hard to like look at the path in front of me, because it's just a path going through like this park, and there's just like dense trees on one side, and then there's a road further like to the right, and then there's like more trees. It's very eerie. It's quite freaky to bike through. But yeah, because I don't really have a light. I was gonna, but I decided to take the footpath instead. Anyway, so I just decided to start biking because I have high cholesterol, and I need to make multiple lifestyle changes to try and get that down. I've pretty much quit drinking regularly, so I've just drank on certain days, like I drank on fucking Valentine's Day for obvious reasons. I drank on a couple other days when I've just been bored, but I feel like having purpose is the thing that gets rid of this need to drink, or this feeling. It really goes back to that whole saying, idle hands are the devil's plaything, or the devil's work, or something like that. It's like you get up to mischief when you're bored and you've got no purpose. It's like when I was a teenager and I had nothing to do. Same with a lot of other teenagers who had nothing to do. We'd get in shit because we weren't working, and we'd hang around town. You get into fights with people, or other people get into fights, you get mixed up in it. It's all because you don't have fucking purpose, because you're not doing something. You need something to take up that time, you know. Otherwise you go back into bad habits and things like that. That's why, things like the gym and, really sort of working at, like, getting up at a certain time and going to bed at a certain time can have their own individual benefits. But one of the most important things for me, I find, is that things like that isn't necessarily what they do, although sleep is very important. But it's just keeping a schedule, sort of keeping to times and things, because they don't have to really be anything that significant. But it's like, if you have a few things that you commit to, it's sort of like it's keeping you to stay focused on something. And when you start getting distracted, that's when you start slipping into bad habits. And that's what I find with alcohol. For me, I never drank because I wanted to just be a pisshead. I drank because when I was younger, I wanted a job, and I used to feel worthless because I couldn't get something. I was like a man without purpose, and I'm like, that's a really bad thing. And there's too many of them in society. That's when people start having problems. So half of these people who cause problems is because they don't have purpose, they don't have a family and anything to work towards. But anyway, not to go on about this too much. So back to what I was doing. So I'm not drinking as much these days because I'm trying to just focus on this other stuff. So I go to this place most days a week. Shit, I just ran over something, plastic or something like that. This park has always creeped me out, biking past it late at night, because it's like, it's really weird how places that are just completely not scary at all during the day can be really terrifying at night. Probably because you can't really see into them, and your mind sort of starts to wander. There's literally nothing on the road at the moment. It's like really late or like really early, depending on how you hear it. Depending on how you think of it. And I can hear noises in the trees and stuff. It's most likely possums. There's a lot of possums in these trees. You see them at the base of the tree sometimes. And if you don't know what a possum is, like, it's not that one with the beady black eyes that looks like rabid, like the American one. That's an opossum, I think. There's just New Zealand possum. They're really cute. A lot of people hate them because apparently they shred the trees and stuff. But I see them at the base of the trees, and then they shoot up there sometimes. And I also saw a black cat in this park about a week ago that I tried to get close to, but it ran off into the bushes. And I also saw a white rabbit standing outside someone's section on the way home, which was actually really weird. But anyway, back to what I was doing. So I have an art studio that I go to 6 to 7 days a week, and so my job is there. But what I also do is I do artwork. So I've actually just recently started painting. I've done my first painting. So that's a new thing that I want to try and get into. Not that I think I'll be very good, but anyway, so that's one thing. But I do drawing, and drawing sort of helps what I do, because I have to do drawing with it anyway. Because so basically what I'm doing is I'm a tattooist, okay? I wouldn't call myself a tattoo artist, because that would imply that I'm some sort of really great creator of art. Most of the time I just take things that people have asked me to do, like they've already just given me the pictures, and I do that. Sometimes people ask me to create something, and that's where the creativity comes into it a lot more, because then you have to come up with something. So that's where the drawing comes into it. So I draw anyway, and I come up with designs anyway, but sometimes I have to draw for other people. Not that I want to go on about this boring shit. I'll make a fucking video about it sometime. But anyway, I'm not a tablet artist yet either, so drawing is on paper and it takes longer, but I feel like it's the proper way to do it, because the tablet makes it so much easier. I reckon it's better to learn the hard way first and then go on to the easier one than cutting corners. But that's what I do at the moment, and I also do some other vehicle related stuff now and then. But in reality, Also, I'm going to be like doing more other things online. But yeah, at the moment it's just really waiting for this money to come in and shit. So I don't plan on doing what I'm doing for that much longer, because I really want to get out of here. My goal for this year is going to be what it was for last year, so that's traveling. So I'm just waiting on something, and when that works out, if I get that sorted soon, hopefully sooner than later, I'm going to be doing a series of looks maxing type videos, because I'm planning on getting a bunch of surgeries done. So yeah, but at the moment I'm also trying to get like my health sorted and stuff like that. So I can't just go out and get surgery without getting my health fucking sorted. So that's something. But yeah, so that's what I plan on doing this year. So I want to be like hopefully getting some surgeries done, and not just that, but travel as well. To me, they're equally as important as each other, because I want to fix myself up. I mean, I wish I could have done this 7 years ago or something when I was younger, you know, because like it's sort of like doing up a car that's sort of like, you know, like painting up a car and restoring it once it's already like all rusted and falling apart. Or well, it's not a very good comparison, but what I'm saying is this sort of shit would have done me a lot of good a lot of years ago. You know, it's kind of like, even if I could, you know, it's like even if you could become like good looking when you're older in life, it's like a good looking guy in his 30s or 40s is absolutely gonna, like, you know, it's like it's kind of irrelevant at that point, because age just sort of, you know, it's like good looking guy in his later years isn't going to be approached by people and stuff, even other guys, just for conversations. Like, you know, when you're younger, even if you're not popular, like you go to places, people just like sometimes talk to you. Like when I was in the big city, I was really fucked up with like some depression and stuff, and I was just at this like public kind of beach like place, like drinking, and there was like kind of a barbecue thing there, and these two guys came down, and I was just like drinking, just feeling like shit, and these two guys like came up to me, whatever, they were trying to have a barbecue there, but like they didn't really bring all the stuff they needed. I think some crap anyway, I ended up talking to them, and we hung out, and they were like, oh, that's a cool car and whatever. We ended up driving around for a while, and then they invited me around to their place that they were at, and I think we had some drinks and shared quite a few smokes with me, because I was smoking at the time, and it was a really cool experience, you know, just to be young enough, like it's like I wasn't young, but it's like to be young enough to be accepted by people still. But you know, I'd imagine when you get to like your late 30s and your 40s or whatever, people aren't going to want to associate with you anymore. You know, it doesn't matter if you're ugly or you're good looking at that stage, because it's like you're just simply unwanted for the age, you know. People aren't going to want to make friends with a 40-year-old. So yeah, when I first moved to Auckland, which is the biggest city in the country, I still looked pretty young. Like I wasn't 28, but people thought I would look young for 28, because I just say I was 28. And yeah, I still actually had youthful look. It wasn't just the health problems that sort of did it, but it was like, you know, it was a few years ago now, and you know, when about a little while after I made my first channel, and I was like, yeah, I still look young enough, you know. I was an older guy, but I could still go to bars and shit. Now it's like no longer just I'm no longer just the older guy. I'm like the actual older person. So it's like now it's like, even if I was good looking enough, it's like I'm not just going to be like, oh, is this girl okay with a guy who's like 5 or 6 years older? It's going to be like, oh, now I have to find somebody who is into older guys, you know, like how you get these guys like late 30s or some shit, and then they're dating somebody who's like 23, 22, whatever. It happens quite a bit. But how are you going to know? How are you going to know if she's okay with that? Because you could, you know, when you're older, it's like people like, well, fuck, how do I go about saying it? When you're young and you're unattractive, at least you know if you approach somebody isn't, for the most part, isn't going to think you're inappropriate because of your age. They're just going to be like, oh, he's not good looking enough. And now it's like, oh, it's not even just about looks. It's like, oh, he's not young enough, you know. And how are you going to know? I feel like it's playing like Russian roulette, really. Because, like, what if you approach somebody and she's like, oh, what the fuck is this older guy talking to me for? But then again, you could approach somebody else and she's like, oh, I kind of like older guys. And I thought nobody likes older guys, but there's this girl that I used to like who would come into my old workplace. Like, she's probably fairly average in the face, but fucking hell, huge fucking chest. And I was just like, man, I just want to talk to her, but I'm too old. And I was like 25 at the time. I had no idea how old she was, maybe like 19 or something, maybe 20. I didn't know, I couldn't tell. I later found out that she was like 19, I think. I know, I was 24 at the time. Anyway, so I never bothered to even try and talk to her because I thought, well, I didn't really think anything about my looks at the time because I didn't really realise the importance of looks, or where I stood. But yeah, I thought at the time, I'm too old. And then I found out through other person that I got to know, who was like a mutual friend of hers, that that the guys that she liked or the guys that she went with were even older than me, you know, like guys who I thought were old. So you never really know. But the problem is that you don't want to gamble, because, you know, I just feel like I wouldn't want to be called out for liking somebody younger. And then some people might turn around and be like, oh, well, why don't you just like somebody your own age? Well, yeah, what the fuck am I going to have in common with a 32-year-old who's got a house, a mortgage, and a couple of kids, you know? I haven't even really had proper physical intimacy, let alone fucking have children and stuff. You know, I'm literally stuck in my like 17, 18-year-old mind, like, you know, wondering when mummy's coming home. That's how I feel, because I didn't fucking properly mature. You know, I'm not saying that I live like a teenager, although in some ways I sort of do. You know, I've grown up a bit more. I can sort of take care of myself a bit better. I know how things work a bit more, and I don't do as many stupid decisions. But yeah, I don't know. It's not. I just feel like you don't want to go your life missing out on relationships while you're 20 and go straight to somebody who's over 30. You know, it's like, that's how I feel about it. You know, it's like if you've had, like, a lot of girls judge on guys who are older and like girls who are like younger than them, but the thing is that they can't really insult you for that sort of thing, because they didn't have to go their 20s without having any proper, you know, good like physical relationships. So, you know, so I've seen some guys think they're bad for that, but it's like, well, if you never have that when you're younger, you're not going to go straight to, you know, older people. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty shit. Besides, the thing about people who are older, yeah, it's like good luck finding somebody who doesn't have kids, you know, and I don't want to play baby daddy to somebody else's kids. It'll just be a constant reminder of the failure that I haven't had any myself. You know, I mean, I like kids, but I don't want to be playing parent to somebody else's ones. You know. But anyway, so the thing is that it's not just that, finding somebody who hasn't had kids, but also that is that if they're a girl, well, you pretty much know that unless she's had like some real religious thing, you know, like saving herself for marriage or something, she's most likely, because of how easy they have it, have been with like hundreds, not hundreds, but like had hundreds of experiences, been with like 40, 50 boyfriends by then or some shit, and then by the time it's your turn, it's like, well, you're competing with everybody else that she's been with. Oh, you don't make as much as John, or you're not as tall as Sam, or but old Jason, he's been both of them. He used to take me and my kids around, or he used to take me out to these places and whatever, and all this other shit. And it's like, you have to compete with the better part of every fucking guy that she's been with, so fuck that. I want to experience things because I'm rather inexperienced in life. I want to experience these things for the first time with somebody else, or I want to show them these things. It's like, I want to take them out to places that they haven't been before, or go to experiences like bands and other things that somebody hasn't really seen. I don't want somebody who's burnt out and they just want to sit on the couch and scroll through garbage on their cell phone. I want somebody who's adventurous and wants to go day drinking with me on a road trip, because I'm very much like adolescent in that way in my mind. I could go back to when I was 21 easy if I could de-age my body, like I'm almost biking past the house that I lived at when I was 21. I lived there with 3 of my friends, and going back, one of the best experiences, man. I just keep thinking, fuck, if only I could go in a time machine, keep my brain how it is now, so I would have a different perspective on things and had life lessons and things, but just go back to then when I was 21, living with my 3 friends. My mum was still alive, my sister was still around, like, it's just, I don't know, it just feels like the sun shone brighter back then. Hope and optimism were still like things that I had, I hadn't been sort of kicked in the guts by reality. But yeah, those were good days for a little while. I should have just realised that I should have hung on to that for a bit and then moved while I was still younger. It's fucked up. Almost double my age. And now, still, yeah, everybody else is pretty much gone. Yeah, still keep in contact with a couple of those guys, but, don't let these assholes online either make you think that your younger years are going to be your worst and your older years are better. It's like, even if you've managed to make something out of yourself financially, which for the fucking record or whatever, most people don't. They say the guys are going to be way better off with a, established, and this is only that peak, top level successful person, which most of them aren't. Most guys in their 30s are just still struggling. Even if they got a house and a car and whatever, they're still fucking paying it off. It's not like they're really, and they really any better. And they don't have the options they did when they were younger. They're not able to go out to parties or anything anymore. Even if they did have that even, if it's parties just with their own friends, they're not able to go out and meet people, They're not going to be able to make friends, and, they're just, all of the best options of things of meeting people are gone, and yet these assholes online will try and tell you, oh, your 30s is a man's prime. No, it's not. It's a physical decline. It's not your physical prime, and it's not your peak life experience. A lot of guys will have a shit teenage years or shit 20s, but that doesn't mean that couldn't be the best time. Like, you've got a lot more capacity to have a better time. That's not really the right word, but there's more of a chance of having more quality life at that age than when you're older. Far less is required of you as well. But yeah, anyway, this video was supposed to be about me and what I've been up to, not going on about all this crap. So I should really just delete this like I have done other ones and do that, like restart it, because for somebody who doesn't really even know what to talk about, you know, I can't just have a conversation with like some of these YouTubers who play video games. They just talk over it while they stream. I can't do that. I wish I could do that, but I just don't have enough to talk about. But for some reason, when I make these videos, or make any videos, they end up being like 40-50 minutes. And for a channel where people drop off after 30 seconds or whatever, that's really not good. I'd like to cut these down to about 15 minutes, but it is what it is. You know, it's like, it must be one of the most boring people to fucking listen to, because a lot of people just zone out when I'm talking in real life as well, and I hate that. It feels so like disrespectful. But yeah, what I've been up to. So last year, what I was doing, probably said it in some of my videos, and some of you might have gotten an idea that that's what I was doing. So I was doing woodwork. So until last year, actually the year before maybe, I'd never picked up a tool really. Well, I mean, I used to collect tools when I was a teenager, because I was always getting into trouble, and I thought, you know, I used to collect things, anything that could be used as a weapon. This used to make me feel more secure, so I used to collect anything and everything dangerous. But yeah, I never really used a tool much until I had some repair work to do on my bus. So I bought a circular saw and a power drill, because I wanted to make another shelf with a shelving that fell out of my bus, and I had to drill some other things on it, I think. So I got that cordless drill and saw, and I was like, well, these are kind of cool. I like having them around. They're useful, and the batteries can fit in multiple different tools. So I just started buying them as a new thing, you know, for a little while. I picked up a jigsaw because I wanted to make a bed frame, like a headboard, a specific type. Like, I wanted to make this Gothic 4-posted bed, and the jigsaw would have allowed me to cut out a certain shape out of a headboard, like to make a headboard. So I picked up like a jigsaw for like $20 or something, and then I got like a couple more tools, and then I got asked to do a repair on a birdhouse, and I was like, hey, I could probably make these things easy enough. So I started on that, and then I started making these wooden planter boxes. I'll put some pictures up. I probably already explained this in another video, but from then on I developed this obsession where I just collected power tools. So I ended up with an entire shed full. As you've probably seen on one of my videos, I did a couple of tool reviews. I was supposed to publish like 30 tool reviews, but half the videos got lost or something. So yeah, I was going to do a bunch of tool reviews. Not that I'm good on that, but I would like to be able to do that. So I started making planter boxes and selling them, like out of pallets and things like that, and I could pretty much sell as many as I could make, because I was the only guy locally who was making these things. And I wanted to branch off and do more complicated things, but the amount of time that it would take to make these things compared to how much they would sell for just wasn't worth it for me. So I ended up moving from the place that I was doing that at, which has the shed like that you can see in the videos with all my tools and stuff, and I ended up moving to where I'm staying now and slowly doing that place up on the inside. And I spent the first few months eating fucking toast and fish and chips from the local place. There was just didn't have much cooking facilities in there. So I spent a few months just doing this place up. When I first got in there, I had no bed, sleeping on the floor, on the carpet, on a sleeping bag and some blankets. I had a TV rigged up in there, like my TV was broken when it came out of storage locker. Basically, it stopped working, and so I just bought like a new TV cheap from Marketplace, and I just had that on top of my printer box So it was like, you know, you see these memes on Facebook and they're like, how can guys live like this? And it's got like a mattress and a TV and like a pistol or something next to the bed, you know, and most guys are like saying, oh yeah, easy enough, you know. That was like that for me, only no gun. So I just had, what did I have? My sleeping bag, a couple of blankets, pillows, ottoman. I had my printer box with a TV awkwardly on top of it. I had an ottoman for a seat, and I was just sitting there playing Halo and shit. I think I was playing Halo online from my cell phone, because my cell phone had internet and I could just use the wireless from my cell phone to connect to the wireless on the Xbox, so I didn't even need an internet connection. So I was doing that sort of thing after a while, and I guess I caught back with, like, brought back those feelings of when I was a teenager and I used to play these games, you know, back when life was kind of happy, you know. Used to love those games when I was a teenager, or Halo and Fable, and there's a bunch of other games, The Suffering. What else? I can't remember. Yeah, I've been playing another game from when I was a teenager recently called Sudeki. It was one of the first games I got on original Xbox. Love that shit. Ninja Gaiden's another one. I mean, I like newer games, but I just don't play games much anymore. I'm doing other stuff. I don't have time. But anyway, so I did that for a little while. Yeah, I ate pretty poorly, and I was slowly doing the place up. Then I went and started buying like gym equipment, because I want to try and put on weight, and I want to try and, you know, do gym stuff. I found like some dumbbells at a hospice shop that was pretty close. They're $4 each. They only had like a couple of plates on them, but that was good enough. I already had some plates, but yeah, $4 dumbbells. And then I got this like thing for $15, which is like a mini sort of bicycle type thing. Like, it's got a couple of pedals on it, and I thought, well, I need to try and do some cardio shit with this cholesterol problem. And then I bought a actual exercycle bike for like $40, and then I bought for just maybe 150 or so. I got one of those total gym type machines, which like, it's basically like, it's got the pull down bar, it's got the chest, like the chest fly or whatever the hell it's called, the lat pull downs or whatever. It's got the rowing thing on it, so it does quite a few things, just not necessarily as good as a gym, you know. And I just did that just to try to get a little bit of size and to try and kind of keep fit a bit, sort of. And I wanted to start eating better. Then I got carpet put in this place, because when I moved into this place, it's like half the fucking place condemned. There's like 3 rooms that are like decent, and yeah, so that's what I was doing. And then I slowly got things brought in. Then I got a desk delivered and a cabinet. Man, I could tell you it was a struggle to get some of the stuff in the house. So yeah, I got a cabinet in there, and my tiny room is fucking done up like pretty insanely, but I don't spend much time there now. And yeah, so carpet in my room. I got a bed. Found a really nice, like almost unused bed from a place locally, which is really good. It's like double layer kind of like mattress on top of it, like those expensive ones you see in the shop. And then yeah, it was winter at that time, and then I got like those like sheepskin kind of wool underlay kind of things, and it was yeah, I ended up making it like way better, because it was a pretty horrible place to live in before that. And yeah, so I had my like home gym and stuff like that, and yeah, there's a car right behind me, so I'm waiting for it to pass. The ute. But yeah, so I got like a kind of home gym set up. I actually have a gym membership just so I can use a shower when I'm out and stuff, but I really don't like the gym because I just feel awkward there. I feel like really self-conscious and shit, and it also makes me incredibly depressed. You know, like you ever go to the gym and you see other people that like physically mog you, and girls who are dressed like, you know, like they're on a set of a porn movie, and it's like doing all these fucking weird stretches around you. It's like, makes you just like, oh God, stop putting it in my face. This is depressing, you know. I hate it. So I had all this gym equipment at my place. I got, what else I get? I got almost everything aside from one of those machines that, well, I never got like a barbell. I wanted to get a barbell. What the fuck is that? Oh, it's a scooter. It's a scooter with all these neon lights on it. I thought it was a cop, but I was like, what the hell? Anyway, so, yeah, had a home gym set up, got internet with unlimited. And yeah, so over the first year or whatever that I moved into this place, that's pretty much what I was doing. Just going out around the shop, praying that I'm going to get out of this situation. And what in the fuck was that noise? I do not know. Biking past the park again. But yeah, so I always feel like somebody or something is just going to just sprint out of the darkness towards me. I guess I'm like paranoid. It's like hear the shrieking and my fucking, like, I can feel my like goosebumps in my arms, like my hair's standing up. Like, I mean, if somebody wanted me to go in there, like if I had got paid, I would do it. I mean, it's not like I don't. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? There is a light in the park, and it doesn't look like it's a vehicle. It just looks like somebody's standing with their fucking cell phone above their head. What the hell is that? Gonna take a closer look. Okay, somebody with a cell phone out. Like they're looking for something on a tree. That's really weird. I don't know. I just get creeped out at night, you know, like I'll go into some pretty horrible dark places sometimes, especially if it's like exploring, you know, but I'm not gonna lie that I don't get freaked out when I hear stuff. Hell, my own fucking place scares me at night time sometimes because it's surrounded by like, the backyard is like a jungle. It's dark, overgrown trees and shit. So yeah. But I'm also morbidly curious because it's like I like to go and check things out. Yeah. But anyway, so I was slowly getting things for this place, buying things that I shouldn't, because that's what I get like when I settle into somewhere. I just start buying things, you know. So I started collecting old things because I'm a sucker for old stuff, right? You know, you see these people who win lotto or they're celebrity or some shit and they've got millions of dollars, and like I always say, the rich don't have style because they go and buy, they have to have the newest car, the newest looking house, and I've always said modern architecture sucks ass. But yeah, they get this big blocky looking house with a whole lot of floor space. They have just these minimalistic type of furniture, no class to it, no soul. You know, I'm one of these people who, I love antique stuff. I like old things that were made before I was born. Same with a lot of the music. It's not built for a comfort and like accessibility and all that like usefulness, but it's built with like style, and they just really go out of their way to put detail on things. So yeah, I like kind of collect antique things in a way. Like my lounge is of the place that I'm in. I've got oil lamps in there, so it's kind of like it's got a base and then it's got like a kind of glass rounded bulb thing on top of it, and it burns with a wick like a kind of candle, and it has an oil reservoir on the bottom. So I've got those. Like, I've got an actual antique one that I picked up from a sale, and then I've got a couple of the Temu ones, which they have the style but they're just not real old. So yeah, I've actually got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 oil lamps, and I've got one like miniature one that I don't know if it really works, but it's kind of more of a novelty. And yeah, and I also have a fuck ton of candle holders. So I've got the big ones on stands. Honestly, it's like yeah, my whole lounge is lit by candles because I don't have lighting in there. Like the bulb is, the switch is gone, so I just use candles. But yeah, I just saw a possum like drop down out of a tree and scuttle along the ground, then jump back up it. I was like, what the hell is that scratching kind of noise? Gave me a fright, and then I was like, oh, it's a possum. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I've been living in a semi-derelict fucking shithole. Fuck. But yeah, I've been planning on leaving for a long time. I'm just wasting my time here. I really, really miss Auckland, eh? It's just so much, like, just so missing out, just not being there. But I'm wanting to go overseas, but I'm just waiting on the money to get sorted. But yeah, so what I've been up to recently, I got a studio in a building, probably towards the end of last year, and I was slowly putting things in that. So I got a bunch of furniture, a couple of bedside tables, and like a shelf type thing. And yeah, so I started with that, and then I got a free table from the place, which I've now changed to a smaller table that I bought because, well, a desk, because yeah, the first one was a desk as well, but it was too big and I didn't have enough room for it with all the other stuff in there. So I got another one that's more sort of squarish, well, rectangular shaped. And my sister actually helped me bring this massage table back because we went for a trip down to Wellington. And yeah, so I got a massage table, like a full length proper one, like metal legs and stuff. And I actually got a chair as well from the same girl who sold it, so I could do like different sort of things on that. So the massage table is just for like tattooing, and I've also got, I put a bunch of I've got some other tattoo furniture in there. So I've got like armrest and kind of a different type of rest with a table thing on it and stuff. So yeah, I've been slowly putting more stuff in there. I bought like a clock the other day for that, because my room didn't have a clock in it, and I kind of need one for like people and stuff. It's like, even though I use a cell phone. And I got, what else? I got like a stool and chair, and been slowly just decorating it and making it feel like a kind of home away from home type of thing. So I really quite like that. I just don't get it onto the work like as much as I should. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing in the last year. I had somebody ask me, have I met anybody? No, I haven't. However, I do have a story of somebody that I met before I moved, which I never actually got around to saying, and I'm gonna get into that. It didn't end well necessarily. It's a long story, but to save anybody ask me, I still haven't been physical exactly. I still haven't really experienced that, but yeah, I did meet somebody for a while. But yeah, I'll get into that. But Anyway, what else has been happening? So I went through a bit of a real alcohol problem for a while after I moved into this place. I had a friend staying with me for a while who was a genuine alcoholic, and I mean, like, he didn't drink every day, but he'd have to buy alcohol on payday every week, and at the end of the night, you know, when he started drinking he was okay, and then by the end of the night he was either like really crazy, like just upset and depressed, or he was violent and psychotic. So I basically told him he had to leave. He was staying with me because he didn't have a place for a while, and I was like, nah, I can't fucking do this because it's just stressing me out way too much. So yeah, that's why it's bad to have a bad flatmate, man. It's crap. Just, yes, a horrible experience. You know, that's what happens when you try and be nice to the wrong people. You know, well, I mean, I still talk to him, but I wouldn't live with him again. Fuck that. But yeah, I had too many days where I would just sleep in bed for ages, and I mean, I'd get up at 6 in the afternoon type of thing. I'd stay up late, and I mean, some days I'd stay up till 7 in the morning. One reason or another. Yeah, it was real bad. But I'm trying to get myself sorted out now. Too old to be living like that. Even when I got in there, I was still feeling youngish, and now I feel real old. It's like, just sort of creeps up and then hits you. That's how it feels anyway for me. I suppose different people would experience it at different years. Some people find they're done partying and done with socialising by 25. I felt like a kid, almost. Not really, but I felt like I was just starting to kind of go out and do things. But yeah, I haven't really been up to a huge amount. I'm really just biding my time till I get to start living properly, you know. Start to get out and do things. So I'm going to document my journey about health and stuff. I'm going to try and... I think this channel will really kick off when I start actually doing the surgery stuff and properly looks maxing. I mean, some people will probably be like, what's this old cunt still trying to do this for? And it's like, better late than never, right? I mean, I just can't... It's like I said the first time I got fillers, it's like I can't get like too old without ever even trying it, you know. So I have to try it. It's like better late than never, I suppose. So at least I'll know. At least I'll know what my potential could have been, you know. So I won't have the youth, but I'll still at least would have been able to see if I could have improved my face a bit. But that's only half of it. So I think that if I fix up my skin and my fat levels, then I'll be able to at least look young, because like some people in their 30s will look old. Some of them are like really heavily aged. Sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's genetics, or a hard life, a lot of sun on them, harsh weather conditions, stuff like that. And then there are some people who are like, well, there's a couple of people that I can think of who are like late 30s and still look young, like a couple of YouTubers I can think of. So it's like I might be able to pass for a young older person or something. But I think that's when the channel will get bigger. And as well as that, I'm going to be doing a lot of travel. So whether people follow the black pill type of content or not, I think it'll be interesting for some people, because I'm going to go to a lot of places that a lot of people won't necessarily be familiar with. So it'll add a different side to the channel. And I'm also going to be doing a lot more things like urban exploration and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be like for the rest of my channel. But yeah, so if anybody's gotten this far into my videos somehow, my channel isn't going to be just this stuff. I'm not going to be only talking about my, my depressive kind of crap and this kind of subject. I always planned on expanding my channel into actually things more that are interests of myself, and rather than just stuff I'm going through. So I'm going to be doing that. But yeah, in the meantime, what I've been up to, yeah, just sort of fixing up things in this place that I'm staying at, and just waiting around and looking forward to the day that I get to move and leave the country and really start living, because it is well overdue. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to be doing my art, doing work online, and waiting till I get the money sorted to go over and start exploring the world and see the life that I've missed out on, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think there's anything much else that I've really missed out on. Oh yeah, a few months ago I took my cat to the vet because she's a white cat and they unfortunately get sunburn on their ears and stuff. It turns to cancer and stuff, so I had to take her in because of that, and they said that well, it wasn't necessarily cancerous, but that it had to be that it would turn into that if I left it for too long. So she got her ears cut down by, fuck, I hate these dogs. She got her ears cut down a little bit, so they're now a lot shorter. So unfortunately some cats end up losing their ears because of it, but my one now has the ears of like one of those short-eared kind of Scottish fold-looking cats. And I might put the picture up on the thing, but yeah. So that's what happened, and my cat is still quite a significant part of my life, because I got her when I was like, just before I moved out of my mum's place, and then I moved back after I left my friend's place. But yeah, my mum always liked my cat, and it was my mum and my sister around. It was just a reminder of how, things used to be. So that was something else that happened. That, and I'm trying to think, there's not really much significant things that happened during the year. Just gonna sit in my car, have a drink. I need to find my bottle. Where the hell is it? It's there. It's not alcohol, it's spring water. So yeah, I get bottled spring water from a local reservoir. Yeah. So what else? I don't even know. Oh yeah, my sister's been up from South Island, so I've been spending a bit of time with her. Gone on a couple of trips out of town with her. It's been pretty cool. Besides that, not really a lot. I caught up with people. My friend's Nan, she's just turned 80. She's been like a family member to me, because after I lost my mum, I haven't really had anybody close, but they've known me for a long time, and she's been really, really supportive. And it's crazy to think, she just seems like so much younger to me than 80. And I was like, I went to her birthday thing with the other family members and everybody else that turned up, and was like, how is this happening, man? It's like, she's 80, my mum's gone, my sister's all over the place. It's like two guys that I know from when I was a teenager like not good people, but fuck, it's crazy. I remember them roaming around town as well. One of these guys is a real prick. But yeah, this motherfucker's gone grey. This other guy, all his hair around the side of his head is all grey. You know, this other guy's beard is grey. I'm like, what the fuck, man? It's like the Reaper's swinging, man. This is crazy. You know, it's like one minute you're like this, and then it's like a few years ago it feels like everybody was teenagers, and now these cunts are going grey. I'm starting to look at my face thinking, holy shit, am I going to go grey? It's like, I need to work, I need to do this before it's over. You know, it's like, if I had a kid when I was supposed to have a kid, they would be living like I was, like, back then, like, which doesn't even feel like that long ago, like when I was 17 or whatever. It's like, it's crazy to think that if I had a kid in my late teenage years, they would be the same age that I'd be, you know, when I was like a teenager playing the Xbox game. So I could be sitting there playing the Xbox with them at the same age that I was when I was playing it. You know, I could be doing that with. That's so crazy, man. It's like, I feel like it's like I skipped my adult years. So I'm perpetually stuck in a time that I used to play Xbox, and my mum would bring home games for me and stuff. It's like I fucking skipped it. You know, maybe it's like my fucking head injury or something, but it's like I don't remember a lot of my 20s. I feel like I've just skipped a whole chunk of it, and my mind is like this. I feel like, say, you just took a kid and you just dropped him out in the middle of nowhere and just said, here, have an old body, kid. Now you're an old man. Now go off and fucking deal with it. That's how I feel, man. It's so awkward, weird, and just, I'm like, how did this fucking happen? I don't even know why I make these stupid videos, eh? It's like people just probably think you're crazy, like, but everybody does it now, I suppose. But yeah, I feel like I'm waiting for the life to start, you know, like, and it'll be already over. I wish I was a teenager again. I wish I was 17, but with a car, you know, like 17, but with life as it is now. And yeah, it's like, I just feel like I just missed out on that whole social thing. Like, I did have a few friends and stuff, but just nothing compared to what it could have been. You know? I'm at the midway point between too young to be, you know, living like a retired person, an old person, like in a retirement home or like an old cripple, but, you know, too old to be having a social life and stuff. Yeah. God, I don't even fucking know, eh? I think as well as that all girls these days are just so swamped with options that if you're older or if you're unattractive or if you're even average, you don't even have a shit show, because she's got like so many options that, you know, even if you're young, healthy and normal looking, you know, the things that I'm not, you still don't have a chance, because you just, you know, it's like if you got 100 options as a girl, whatever, how many options, how are you gonna, like, as an average guy, how are you gonna be like, oh, pick me, I'm the one that you should be with? And meanwhile, it's like she's sorting through 100 people. You know, this would be okay if it was like the really attractive girl, you know, the typical hot girl, you know, I could understand that, because I didn't really go for that type anyway. But when it's just your plain Jane, you know, your average guy trying to get your plain Jane these days is like a freaking 9-to-5 average minimum wage worker trying to get a car yard to basically let him buy a Lamborghini or something. You know, it's just like, it's almost out of the question. It's crazy. You know, it's crazy that it's come down to this. But all these girls know that guys are just so fucking desperate that they have so many options that they're not going to go for anyone average, even if they're, really average themselves. Because like every girl will know this. It's like, if you were to go to find some, even in a like a tiny fucking no-name town like this, like a town that's so like obscure and just, it's like she's still going to have 1,000 fucking matches or whatever. Still going to have like hundreds of guys messaging, because the thing is that she knows she could get any one of these guys because literally none of these men have options. It's like if 50% of men can't even get matches and can't even get girls to message them and get no friend requests and no follows on Instagram or any of that shit, if like 50% of men are like that, then all a girl needs to do is go on a phone and be like, oh, well, every one of these 50% of men of the male population would probably match with me, so I'm just going to pick the best one out of them if I want to have one, but I'm going to chase the top one. But that's how they are. It's like they know that if they wanted to give one of these guys a chance, they've got that many to pick from, because literally 50 to 60% of men aren't getting anything. So therefore 50 to 60% of men are all basically options if these girls wanted to have them. So if you're one of these guys, and if you're down the bottom of the list as well, how are you ever going to do it? I got my first proper rejection a few weeks ago, and I think, well, at this age, I'm probably just getting rejected simply because of my age. But I thought maybe this girl's just like, she's probably got a whole lot of guys around her age anyway that she is trying to talk to her anyway. I don't know how old she was. I'm not a very good guesser of ages, but yeah. So the story of that really was, I was in a there's a street festival they had for a while, and I was just pretty much drunk, and I was like, I don't want to go home, so I just went to bars, any bar that I could find. There wasn't really many around here, and basically was nothing really open, and so I found this bar around by UCOL campus sort of thing. It wasn't attached to the campus, but it was in a street that was around by there. It was a different kind. It wasn't a student bar because it had like people of like other ages in it as well, but it was just like in the area by there, like kind of in the street next to it. And I saw this girl outside, and I was just like, I was contemplating going in, and she was arguing or something with the guy at the door or whatever, asking him, like if there were any shops open at the time or anything. And I just walked up and I asked her, I was like, can I ask you a random question, just because felt like it was something that I always wanted to know, like, I mean, I've asked people online, but never in real life. And I said to her, hey, how often do guys approach you? And I was like, how often do you actually get approached? And she was like, oh, no, I don't, I don't have that happen. And I said, oh, that's weird. I was just like, I was just always curious to find out how often attractive girls get approached. And she was like, oh, well, why don't you go ask an attractive girl then? And I said, well, I am. I said, I am asking an attractive girl. And then she's just like sort of scoffs at it and then just walks off. And then like I was hanging around that bar for a while, had a couple of drinks, and I saw her a bit later, and then I just thought, like, fuck it, there's not many people I find attractive. And I thought I'd decide, fuck it, I'll just ask for a number anyway. So I just went up to her, I just said, I think you look attractive and that, and I was just like, I couldn't help, but I just had to try and see if I could get your number sort of thing. And she was just like, oh, no, or something like that. And then I just like walked off, didn't really give much of an explanation, didn't say, oh, I've got a boyfriend or anything, but, Yeah, so I felt stink, but it's like I actually felt really good afterwards as well. It's kind of like, say, I don't really know what to compare it to. It's like you get a nasty cut and then the pain is over, but you know it's going to leave a cool scar or something almost. Like, the way I look at it is like it hurt and it made me feel bad, and I've got all these questions in my mind, like, why did it happen exactly? For what reason? Is it just because I'm like too old now, or is it because I'm unattractive, or is it both? But the thing is that I actually felt really quite good about it, because I thought, hey, I actually had the balls to do that. I just need to put my phone down for a minute. My throat feels like it's bleeding. Oh, shit. That's what happens when I talk a lot. When I talk a lot, my throat gets dry. Anyway. So, I actually felt good about that. And I feel like even if I get a bunch more rejections, if I try that, because I feel like I'm going to actually try. Because the way I look at it is that I don't want to be somebody who's too cowardly to do this. And I hate living with the regret of never knowing. Just suspecting for me isn't good enough. But knowing that I actually pursued something I wanted to and followed through with it made me feel good. And it's like, am I any less of a person for getting rejected? It's like, I haven't lost anything. It's like I could say, oh, well, I've lost some like value, sort of in myself, like, because I got turned down. It's like, am I any, it's like I'm just being shown that I'm not really valuable and whatever. But it's like, I don't really look at it that way. It's sort of like I'm the same fucking person. It's like whether I was not valuable before or only a little bit or whatever, nothing's really changed, It's sort of really hard for me to sort of describe it. It's like it doesn't really change anything, A lot of guys are too cowardly to even try. Like none of my friends had the balls. Even one of my friends with a huge ego, that guy's never actually tried. I've had a lot of guys that I've like been friends with, whatever, not a lot, but I've had some. I can think of like 3 or 4. It's not a lot, but there's a lot more than that. I'm sure. I just can't think at the moment. But anyway, I've been in the bars with some of these guys. It's usually from metal shows and things like that. That I've been at the bars at the same time as them. Anyway, I remember them saying, "Oh, there's a lot of nice looking girls here," and I'm like, "Where?" I don't see any, because my preferences are a little bit different than other guys. Like, to me, she has to either be goth or she has to have a nice looking body. And both of them are very rare to me, because 1, you'll almost never see a goth, and 2, I kind of like people who have like, I really fucking hate that it's become popular now, because that was always my thing and it was never anybody else's really so much, but I always like people who have like, kind of, I don't even know why I'm talking about my preferences on here, but like girls who have these kind of like really sort of thick, solid, shapely legs. Like, I think people call it anime thighs and stuff, like I think that's what they call it. Like, they got those big kind of rounded thighs, but they're not fat at all. They're just like got big, like heavier, like bigger legs and stuff like that, like that kind of build, like the whole thick thing. But like, I hate that, because that was always my kind of thing. I always liked that. I always liked ones who weren't thin, they just had that sort of shape to them, that sort of real sort of curvy shape to them. And and for me, I would almost like, you never see people like that around hardly. You either see people who are really just plain, just straight legs, like really skinny, or they're just fat, or they have no real shape to them. So I very rarely find anybody that I actually like the look of. Not to mention the fact I'm in New Zealand, and most, like New Zealand, ugliest female population in the world, according to studies. So it's very rare. I mean, you see the ones in the UK, and it absolutely mop the floor with New Zealand ones. So there's that. But yeah, most of the guys I know that I went to bars with, they're always too chicken shit to even say hi to a girl. For me, on the other hand, I'd never see ones that I want to really talk to, hardly. Or if I did, I'm like, well, I'm not going to go up and talk to somebody who hangs out with 6 or so other girls, because, I couldn't relate to her friends. I kind of want to go with the alternative loner kind of person, somebody who's a little less popular. But anyway, most guys I know are too pussy to do it. They can't. But for me, I felt like this big wave of relief, and just, it's like letting go. It's like when I did my bungee jump, right? That moment, walking up to the edge of, like, say, a diving board on in a pool, like at a pool place, or like, you walk to the edge of the diving board, sort of thing. That's how it was, like, I'd imagine with the bungee jump, because I've never actually gone off a diving board, but like, so I had this like long rope around my legs, and it's like a big weight at the end of your legs. You can only move your feet like a little bit, like you're sort of walking like a penguin, kind of, because your feet are almost tied together like they're in shackles because of this thing between your feet. So I was like sort of walking up to the edge of this platform, and I was just like, I was so fucking scared when I did my bungee jump, because I was like, oh man, like just walking up to that. And then it's like just looking at this massive drop down to the water. Like, it just looks like you're looking like a mile down. And just walking up to that and knowing that, like, every second before your jump is precious. Just waiting before that, and then getting up to there, and it's like, oh my God, how longer can I savor this moment for before I jump? Every second I'm getting closer to this, so I'm going to have to jump off this. And then, like, you're looking down, it's like, oh my God, just close your eyes and fuck, it'll be over soon. But then I leapt off, like, I just, put my hands out, and then, like, I had my eyes closed for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, nah, I'm opening my eyes. And then it's like the freedom, once you're like, hey man, I'm going to get through this, and this is something, like those first couple of seconds, it's like when I jumped off the Sky Tower as well. If you look up the Sky Tower, there's a thing called the Sky Jump. First 2 seconds, it's like your body's feeling like you're gonna die, and then straight after that, it's like, it feels like you're flying, man. It's fucking amazing. But that's how I kind of felt with the rejection, in a way. I'm not saying that it was an enjoyable experience, but it's like, after that initial first big wave of fear, that release of just like the freedom, like you're at a stage where it's like, that's it, this is no longer a big deal. You can't hurt me anymore. That's how it felt to me. For me, it's like, I was, like with the jump, I was so scared up until I did it. And then when I did it, it was like riding a wave or something, like, and the rest of it was just enjoyable. So with the rejection, it was like, I was pacing around, when I was at the bar. I was like, man, when I saw this girl come, like, back, I was waiting around. I'm like, oh, when's the opportunity, like, the opportune moment to fucking do this? Am I going to wait before, while she stops talking to somebody? Am I going to, like, if I wait too long, she's just going to leave and I'm going to miss my chance? And when she was outside, she was sitting with a couple of other people. And I thought maybe it was the booze, but booze has never really given me much confidence. It's only made me confidence to act a bit stupid. But, I never really got that alcohol confidence much. But yeah, she was sitting with a couple of other people, and I felt like, fuck it. Even if there was several other friends there, I'm just going to do it anyway. I don't think it was just the booze. I think the booze might, help me a little bit, but, when I did that, there was the fear of doing it. The fear of how is this going to go? How am I going to feel? Is this going to absolutely, shatter me? My confidence and my values just going to, smash like a mirror and just drop to the ground, in a whole lot of pieces. But, once it was over, it was like, man, the anticipation beforehand, I was like, man, this is going to hurt. How am I going to handle this? And then when it's over, it's like, this can't affect me anymore. It's like, when you ever get a filling done at the dentist, and you just, I used to, when I'd go in the dentist, I was so nervous, man. I was just so fucking nervous. Even the smell of the place, because it brought back that fear from when I was a kid. Just the smell of latex gloves and that kind of cleaning stuff they do, and just hearing that, I'm like, oh God, I'm up next, aren't I? And it's like, once it starts happening, and then it's like, honestly, I could tell you, there's no better feeling that I've had in life, I don't think, than the feeling of after I had my dental work all done, and then I open my eyes again, and the bright light shining in me, it's like, you're all done, you can go now, and it's like, such a great feeling. Getting through that and being on the other side of that, knowing that it's behind you. So the rejection was kind of like that for me. And it sounds a bit like I'm making a huge deal about this. But the thing is that to me, it was a big deal. Because I'd never properly done that before. I mean, I've asked for girls' numbers before and things like that. But it's been so long, and I never really got outright rejected before. I got the, oh, I'm seeing somebody, or yeah, you can have my number, but then they don't text you, or that one gave me a fake number. It's very hard, very few and far between that would actually have a proper rejection if I ever even did have one. Sometimes I wouldn't even ask for a girl's number. I would just write them a note. I would say, hey, I think you're cute, or hi, can I give you my number? And I would write that on a piece of paper and then give it to them and then walk off. That's what I would do when I was younger. I used to just give them a piece of paper with my number on it, and I'd say, hey, I wanted to ask for your number, but I didn't want to bother you or some shit, and save myself the upfront rejection. But I did actually get some of them message back, but some of them were like, oh, I'm seeing somebody, or they weren't really interested, so they'd just say hi, and the conversation would sort of go dead after a couple of messages. But just the feeling of relief afterwards, because it's like, it's over, they can't hurt anymore, It was just a feeling of relief, and I was just so pleased with myself doing it. And it sounds so retarded. You're over 30. People have been married and divorced twice by this age and had kids. And it's like, and here you are at this age doing something that people are going to think is inappropriate because of your age. But it's like, hell, at least I fucking did it. At least I tried. And it's like, what is one rejection? Nothing. Okay, right? Because you have to do it a bunch more times, because you can, even if you do have success with girls in life, you still have to still approach multiple people. Even Chad still has to approach multiple people, even if he does get approached now and then, because the girls he aren't necessarily going to approach him. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to approach a bunch more people. But the thing is that it's kind of dicey in a time like this, especially when you're older, because you might get thought of as inappropriate because you're an older guy. But, I mean, how are guys in their late 30s and 40s getting partners, as gross as that is, if they're not approaching people? It's happening somehow. I don't know how it happens, because old people don't have social lives, but somehow happening. And they can't just be from just relationships from when they were younger. It has to be from something. I don't know. But I feel good about it. Like, even if that girl said something like to me, ugh, no, I'd be like, okay. You know? I'll just think, well, yeah, that sucks. Because I'd actually had some girl give me this stink face in the crowd like twice in a row, like 2 times. There's bitches looking back at me, giving me a stink eye when I was at a concert earlier that day. But I'll get into that in another video. So even if this one had said to me, oh no, oh, yuck, or no, gross, I think, okay, well, I'm just not that guy, I'm not the right guy, but it doesn't mean that I'm worthless as a person. It just means, well, that's how this person sees me. You know, the way you look at it this way. Yeah, it's going to make you feel like shit if some girl is like, ugh, gross, ugh, not you, ugh, or something like, or laughs and be like, no, or anything like that, you know, no matter what they say. That doesn't mean necessarily that some people can call it a cope, but their opinion doesn't define your value. Because look at it this way. Even if you're dumb, like I know I'm intellectually challenged. I'm not exactly the smartest person, and I actually don't care. I don't care that I'm not intelligent, really. I mean, I would like to be more intelligent to understand things. But look at it this way. If you're dumb, who really gives a shit? Because the only thing in life that matters is fucking and having kids, right? You don't need a brain to do that, you know? If you were good looking, but you were dumb as fuck, who cares? You're not training to be a rocket scientist or whatever. You're not trained to be a mechanical engineer or some sort of like person who does diagnostics on frickin' engines and like electronics to find out what's working and what isn't and stuff. Like, you don't care about that. You just want to bang and have kids, right? And have a peaceful life. You don't need to be smart to be happy. You know, that's the thing about life. Intelligence doesn't really matter as long as you're not so stupid you can't do regular things. Like, if you're smart enough to drive, you're smart enough to learn how to cook and read recipes, you're smart enough to learn basic things with tools and things, you don't really need to be intelligent as long as you can get by, really. So for me, I don't really give a crap about intelligence, I suppose, and that's just me. But if somebody was to call me dumb, right, if somebody would say, oh, you're stupid, you know, you're low IQ, whatever, you know, it's like, does that really matter? You know, if somebody's going to insult me about that, does that change who I am as a person? Does that mean anything? That's that person's perspective. And perhaps I am dumb. Perhaps I am low intelligent. Perhaps it's like my art. If somebody, you know, was like, oh, well, it's not that good, or it's crap, it's whatever. It's like, mate, I don't care. Like, does it matter? Does it change anything? It's like, if a girl will reject me in a harsh way or say, oh, you're gross, you're ugly, or oh, not you, does it really change what you are as a person? I mean, you can really get down about it, you know, and I can't tell other guys how to feel, how to interpret these things, or, you know, how to get over them. But I feel like if somebody hurls abuse at you like that, or shuts you down in a harsh way, it's like, does that person's perspective of you change who you are as a person? It doesn't. Like I said, if they call you stupid, if they say, oh, well, you're short, you're this, you're that, it's like, yeah, okay. You're pointing out something, but, you know, it doesn't really mean anything when it comes down to it. I'm not very good at explaining this, but, you know, it's like if I get rejected for this or that, or it's like, okay, well, it's like, if I'm not good enough for like your perspective, doesn't mean that I'm, really anything, bad as a person, or necessarily. It's just that person doesn't like me. It's like well, one random person comes up to you in public and is like, oh, I hate you, fuck you, fuck that guy, I don't like him. So what? Like, look at it this way. Say your favorite band is like, say your favorite style of music is rock, or you like blues, or you like whatever. And then somebody comes along and likes another type of music and says your type of music is shit. Their type of music's better. Does that matter to you? Are you going to be put off your kind of music because of them? Are you going to start liking their type of music better? No, you just be like, fuck this guy, man. I like what I like and it's cool. It's like somebody who's come up to me, oh, heavy metal is shit. It's just noise. It's crap music. You should listen to hip hop. You should like something else from that. It's like you're lame because that's like, mate, I think metal's cool. Metal's makes me feel alive. It wouldn't matter who's trashing it. Wouldn't matter who's saying what about it. I know I like it. It's like if somebody was to say my car's crap. Oh, your car's ugly. It's lame. It's, it's whatever. It's like my sister, not my sister that I talk about in a positive way, but my religious sister. She's like, oh, your car, you've got all these skulls and things in here. It's symbols of death. It's bad. It's evil. Yeah. So okay, cool. I'm not a bad person. I just like that imagery, and it's like that doesn't mean anything to me. You can insult me for that. You can insult me for music. But I don't care because I like what I like, and you could get literally every person that I come across in society telling me my music taste is shit, and I'll just laugh at it because I like it and it makes me feel good, So it's like we need to think about this in a different perspective, It's like obviously if you had 500 rejections or 1,000 rejections, you're like that one guy who asked 1,000 people out and 1,000 people say no, then, well, yeah, okay, I can understand you feeling shit and having no confidence. But, if you have a few rejections, or even like, I don't know, a whole bunch of rejections, just need to kind of think, well, has it really changed anything about me, It might make you feel like shit because you get put in your place. But when it comes down to it, a lot of us are put off even approaching people because our ego and our self-worth, it's just so fragile that we can't handle the idea of being put in our place about, how somebody else feels about us. But if you can get past that initial pain, I think you can get over it. It's not about being masochistic towards yourself or wanting to, bring any kind of emotional pain upon yourself, but it's like, it's almost liberating, I find, in a way, from what I could tell just from that one encounter. And I wish I'd tried more times. It's sort of like, say, when you go into a new place, a shopping centre or some place, I don't know, a school or something, some educational place that you're at or something, and you get somebody who doesn't really like you, particularly, but they don't know you. Does it really matter? Does this person who you don't give a fuck about really matter? And who really gives a shit about this person's opinion of you? I was absolutely stoned the other day. I was walking into a shop because I tried hash, what are they called? I had marijuana chocolate for the first time in my life. And, so I was walking downtown and I thought I was like having a heart attack or something because it was like an hour and a half after I'd had this marijuana chocolate. And all of a sudden, like my chest starts feeling like my t-shirt sort of stuck to it. It feels like tighter. My mouth starts going dry. and my head, like my perception of things starts going different. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this what it's like? I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me? And the more I was concentrating on it, the more I was stressing out. And I'm looking down at my hands and my veins are up because I'm stressing. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, shit, man, is this my heart? Is this something respiratory going on? And I was like, oh shit, it's the weed chocolate, isn't it? It's the fucking weed chocolate. It's just taking a long time to work. And for the rest of that day, I was walking around just like zonked out of my mind, like just, yeah. And when I realized what was doing it, I was like started to relax a lot more. And I walked into the shop and was getting a real cold shoulder from this freaking assistant, and he was like making me feel like shit, because I was like, man, this guy really doesn't like me, does he? But I'm like, when I look at it, it's like, I don't give a fuck about your job. I don't care about your place in the world and what you're doing. It doesn't really matter what you think of me, does it? Because I'm not here to impress you. You know, you're not my friend, you're not my partner or my relation of any sort, you know, you're just some random fuck. So, does it really matter what people think about us, you know? You know, so if some girl rejects you because she thinks you're too shit for her standards, well, you don't really lose anything. All it sort of does is tell you who isn't gonna be the right person for you. They may think that you're not right for them, but they're also telling you that they aren't the right person for you either. You know, because if they're going to reject you over something they don't even really know you shouldn't really feel that bad. But yeah, I actually felt good because I'd actually got past something that I was so damn anxious about, and I was like, that was it. You know, it's like, I've been called every name under the sun online. I've been attacked in public before. I've been called names in public. Like I had like horrible verbal shit thrown at me in public. And, you know, I've had girls call me a lot of like nasty names. Most of it's online. But I have had things in life, or real life. I've been called ugly in real life. I've had ones giving me the stink eye, which is basically like the same thing as being called a nasty name. In my opinion, it feels the same. So it's like when this person did this, that's no different. That's nowhere near as bad as half of the like abuse I've ever had. So it's like, I don't need to feel so bad about it, you know, being turned down from that. I mean, I would feel really, really bad if it was like, say, there was this one YouTuber I used to follow and he said he called a girl hot and she apparently called the cops on him and stuff because he called a gas station assistant hot apparently, and she just called security on him and called the cops or something like it. Something like that had happened. That'd be fucking really shit. I've heard about times where some like sub-5 male has like hit on a girl in a bar and she's like gone and like told a bouncer or some security on him and they've got him kicked out over it because she didn't want him being around after that. Like, that sort of thing would really fuck me up. Like, that would ruin my night. Like, that'd be the kind of thing where I would do something like really like malicious. Like, I'd like go in the bar's back door and then I'd smash the fire alarm and pull it, you know, just to clear out the building. That's the kind of thing that like would mess me up into like getting really pissed off, you know, because that's not playing fair. That's not being nice. If you try to get somebody removed or you try and ruin somebody's reputation, like, I mean, I've seen cases where guys have their reputation removed, like fucked up because they've hit on a girl and then the girl's said like taken it real badly and been like, oh, this guy's being creepy and he's, you know, all this crap, and she's told other people. Like, if you go around telling other people that they've done something and then you get a reputation for it, that's really bad, you know. That's the kind of thing that'll fuck you up. Because some guys, some poor bastards, that's what happens to them, you know. They only try to talk to somebody. They try to be nice about it. They try to just, like, ask somebody up, but the girl, like, blows it, like, way out of proportion. And they try to, like ruin their reputation for them. So I can understand with that sort of thing, that would cripple a guy mentally, because that's not just a rejection, that's kind of like, that's fucking with your life, because that can change other things. Like, it's like, say, that could affect your job. It's like if you hit on somebody who knows somebody at your job, or you do it at your job, then that could ruin, like, the peace in your workspace sort of thing, if they go and tell the boss or some bullshit. It's like, there are certain times when rejections could, like, result in actual things that will fuck with your life, and that's a little bit, that's way different. That's a completely different example. But say, if you're a regular guy, if you're a regular situation, you just get rejected, like, whether she says something horrible, or she just outright rejects you, or soft rejection, like, the boyfriend excuse or something, then I find that that's not really a huge thing. It shouldn't be a major blow to your ego. However, it's completely different if they try and, like, ruin your reputation or get you kicked out of a bar or something. That's different. But, when it comes to your regular rejections, I think a lot of us need to sort of learn to get over it and just, I think that it's easier said than done, because most of the guys I know, like I said, don't have the balls. Like, these guys have the guts to fight somebody, but they don't have the guts to talk to a girl. Explain that to me. These people are ones who, they're more confident as people than me, that they're better with people than me, but they can't do that. I'm not saying that I can. I mean, I've only just started this, but it's like, a lot of guys just don't have the guts. And like I was saying, you don't lose something really if you get rejected. But at least at least you've put it out there and told yourself that, hey, I have the balls to do this. And I've always said living with regret is far worse than living with a bad answer on something. Because the regret lasts for ages, and you just never know how it was going to be. Somebody punches you for no reason and you don't hit them back, you let them get away with it, that regret eats you up for like years and years. It's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to hit them back, because then I start a fight and I might get my ass kicked, but if I don't do it, then I live with it forever. I see that attractive girl and shit, she might reject me. It's like, I might get embarrassed, she might laugh at me. But then when it's over, it's like, okay, somebody's insulted me, I can walk off and fuck them. But if they walk past, you never see them again, you're like, oh, well, fuck, I would have at least liked to known what they would have said, Regret is one of the worst things ever. Like, I hate to think of all the situations that I could have had better if it's not just with rejection, it's a lot of other things, A lot of us are too scared to take the fucking leap. Say the greatest achievements in life are achieved outside of your comfort zone, man. I could say that I never thought I'd do bungee jumping. I'm going to do skydiving one day. One day I want to do skydiving, jump out of a plane with a rifle, like World War reenactment shit, like dress up, get one of those old parachutes and fucking old rifle and just like jump out of a plane with like a full like army backpack and stuff. A lot of things I want to do that are crazy. Like, I want to do the thing where they go down the hills in those giant inflatable balls. I want to do like this catapult thing. Really crazy stuff. And believe me, I'm scared about doing it. I mean, I want to have like several cosmetic surgeries done, and believe me, basically the first time I went to hospital, I almost like pissed myself. I was so fucking scared. I don't mean I've never actually pissed myself from being scared, but I mean it was like, figuratively speaking, I was that fucking worried. I was so fucking worried, man. I was like, man, how am I going to deal with this? This isn't just, they're not going to just take a look at me like usual, like the doctor does. There's literally, I have to go into a room with equipment that I've never seen. I have to lie down. I have to get basically sedated. I was like, how do I do this? Can't I just leave them with my body and then pick it up later on? But yeah, it was a good day after I got that done. That was once I was over that hurdle, man. And believe me, now I'm not afraid of hospital the way I was before, because with the hospital, it used to scare the hell out of me. I used to be like, oh my God, they're going to tell me something's wrong. They're going to say I'm going to have all this treatment done. I'm going to have to be rigged up to these fucking devices, and it's going to be like, oh son, we've got some bad news, or we've got to fucking put this fucking machine through your kidney. And it's like, I'm not afraid anymore so much. Like, I will have certain times when I'm afraid. I'm still afraid on blood test results sometimes, but now it's like, you've gone through this fucking 20 times. It's like, it doesn't faze you so much anymore. I don't get nervous in the fucking place. I just be like, when am I fucking gonna leave? And if they told me, oh, you're not gonna leave, it's like, well, then I'll fucking go and die in my own bed. You know, it's like, I'm not afraid of it anymore so much. So it's like, the surgery will still scare me. I mean, I'm getting like put out, you know, like probably in a foreign country. But it's like, I'm going to do it because I know that I could be better off with it. You know, I'm done being afraid of a lot of these things, man. I'm not going to try and pretend that I'm not. Whenever I go into a dark building and I can't see the bottom of it, you know, and it's like, I hear noises and it's like pitch black. I've only got my camera on my phone, whatever. I mean, people looking at this shit from the outside probably doesn't think, oh, that's not freaky. Believe me, it's fucking scary for me. Like, I go into like a freaking abandoned workshop complex or something at night time, down into a basement. It's like, there's no light in there. Like, I just think there's going to be some fucking cracked out bloody cunt down there with a freaking syringe or a knife or a broken bottle. You know, it's like, what am I going to do, you know? Don't have a freaking weapon, like a proper weapon. You know, it's like, I just get paranoid and things like that. I'm scared in situations in the dark and forests and things, but I'm going to, like, do it because it's like, you just push through it. You know, courage isn't really the absence of fear, it's the presence of fear, but the determination to do it regardless. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm ranting like way too long. This fucking video is going to be 2 hours by the time I fucking do it. I still don't know what I need to do for footage either for my videos where I talk, because people probably aren't going to be wanting to like watch me talk for like 2 hours or 1 hour or 40 minutes or whatever. So I was thinking, I don't know what I could do. Video game footage maybe. I suppose that's what a lot of people do. But unless it's a game people are really invested in, I'm thinking maybe just doing online games or something like deathmatch on matchmaking or something, but I don't know. Either way, yeah, so I'm come to the conclusion that it's like, you know, even if girls shut me down in rejections, even if they say something horrible, it's like, I just don't put myself in a situation where they can tell some fucking security to make me leave, because I'll just like leave afterwards, you know, I'm not going to hang around. But yeah, I just think, well, fuck it, you know, I might get shut down, but you know, it doesn't change the person who I am, it doesn't weaken me as a character. It just that says, well, it's one more person who's not interested. So yeah, I think it's probably be better for a lot of guys if they at least try, because it's just a regret of not knowing. One other thing about the rejection thing is it's kind of like, say, it's a little bit pointless, because, say, pretty much everybody who's familiar, who knows, who's watched my channel, my videos, is familiar with Tinder. So Tinder is like approaching pretty much, but with skipping the awkwardness of confronting somebody. So it's like, it tells you whether somebody is interested or not. You know, in this way you get to, it's like approaching 1,000 people, but without the awkward rejection. And it's like, your average guy matches with somebody like 1 in every 112 or 115 swipes, he gets 1 yes. You know, and that one person's always going to be in the bottom 20%. It's like, if you're a white guy, that one person who's going to swipe on you every 115, it's not going to be an average girl. That's going to be somebody who's either over 30, the fat, or they're not white, pretty much. It's never going to be a person who's also white and your own age or under 30. You know, it's pretty much how it is. So if Tinder can pretty much tell you everybody who's interested in you based on appearance, the idea of approaching people is likely a waste of time, because you already know the answer. That's why I never bothered to approach anybody ever since I was 25, because I said, I already know the answer. Tinder already told me the answer. It showed me that it's put my photos out to every girl in the area who's open to looking for somebody, and every one of them has said no. So it's like, if I was to approach, and the fact that my photos look better than how I did in real life anyway, so it's like, if I was to approach any of these people in real life, well, they've already told me the answer. I already know that I'm not attracted to literally anybody in my country, you know, because I swiped everybody in my country. I made a video on it, and I couldn't get one average match. I got like 5 average matches, or like decent looking matches, when I super liked them, back when they gave you the super like option. But even when I did match with those people, I think they only did because I super liked them, but they weren't interested in talking either. So I think I had it backwards and forwards with one girl for like 4 messages, and then she just unmatched me, or dropped out of contact and then unmatched me. So she wasn't interested in talking. And then I got one girl that I super liked, and she was a butterface. You know what a butterface is? She had like quite a hot body, but like a face that kind of looked like Amy Schumer had like been smacked by a freight train. Anyway, or maybe not a freight train, maybe like a minibus or something. But I'm being a bit cruel. But anyway, like, I gave her a compliment, and she was like, oh, thanks, okay, whatever. But then I said something like, hey, so how's it going anyway? What are you up to? Whatever. I didn't get a reply, so I only got a reply from the compliment. But yeah, I couldn't get anybody interested. So basically, I think that I already know the answer. So if I went around asking everybody for their number or tried talking to them, none of them would accept anyway. So Tinder pretty much told me that it's pointless to approach. But I decided to do it anyway, because it's like, even though I have the proof online, I want real, valid, visual proof rather than just a computer telling me something, you know? Because it's a different experience knowing that you've actually seen it firsthand than just this online bullshit. So yeah, not to mention is when I see somebody that I like the look of, I have to try. It's like, I get it. I'm not handsome. I'm not the guy you want. I'm not the kind of guy that you're after or, you know, interested in. But it's like, hey, I wish I was that 6'2" handsome guy who was built, you know, had a decent physique, thick forearms, legs that actually filled his jeans out, you know. Like, I wish that I was like that. I mean, I don't like my own body representing me. In my mind, I am this bigger, more dominant looking guy with more refined features and piercing eyes and shit. Like, this petty, pathetic form that I take isn't how I feel. I don't like it representing me. It's like I'm a fucking lion on the inside, but maybe a cowardly lion. But no, I'm like a hyena or some vicious fucking animal on the inside, like in my mind, but my body, it's like a fucking poodle. Fucking autistic poodle. You know, that's what I've got representing me. And I don't like it. But it's like, course these girls are going to reject you. It's like, mate, it's like you're like a Cabbage Patch Kid walking up to these people when you're supposed to look like Action Man or something, like a Ken doll, but you're a Cabbage Patch Kid. You know, it's like, of course they're not going to be interested, but it's like, this is all I've got to work with, man. You know, it's like you're bringing your scribble, your like scribble looking drawing along to the art convention, trying to, you know, show it off with all of these professionals. It's like, you know, obviously I'm not going to be doing good. You know, it's like a girl has to really want you, you know. You don't want to have to gesture your way and, like, convince them to like you, you know, because that's fake, really. You want actual desire from people. And it's like, obviously these girls aren't going to like me, you know. I go up to them with this body representing myself. They got to just be like, you know, I don't want this fucking guy. But the unfortunate thing is that this is all I've got to work with. I'd love to be able to go into some kind of, put my body into a character creator machine, and I could just, like, from my mind would be separated from it, and I could just, like, custom design how my face and my body would look. I'd love that. Then I could be I could be happy to represent myself with a body that I felt like actually represented my character and who I am. But I can't. So I'm stuck with, like, this piss poor form that I take, and people take me at face value for that. They see what is my exterior and assume that's me and my character, and that's not how I feel on the inside. You know, it's not what I feel like, how I like to represent myself, but it's all I have. So unfortunately, that's just, I play the losing hand and I try to win, you know. But the losing hand is all you've got. You can either walk away from the game and not even play, which is an automatic quit, like failure, I mean. It's an automatic loss. Or you can play the hand that was dealt, you know, that's a losing hand. But you just hope that the other people around you have a worse hand than you, an even worse hand. So, yeah. A way I look at it is, I don't have much to offer when it comes to trying to get a girl. I mean, I didn't have much in my hand before, just a pair of twos, pair of threes maybe. But, you know, now I'm older, it's even worse. But when I see somebody that I like the look of, it's like, unfortunately, this is all I've got to work with. But it's the only hand that I've got, so it's like, I've got to just play it regardless, even if I know I'm going to lose, you know. Yeah. It's really sad, though, knowing that love is just a load of bullshit, really. It's just, in relationships, you know, it's crazy to think that the girls out there are a lot of girls out there that you find attractive who you could actually have really good relationships with, who would like you, they'd have respect for you, and they would enjoy being around you. But the only condition is that'd be if you were better looking. Be better looking, yeah. Like, that is crazy, hey, to think about. Like, you're the exact same person, but you're alone, unwanted, unvalued. But if you could just be tall and good looking, all these girls that wouldn't even give you the time of day would treat you like you're valuable, invite you round to the house for their place, whatever, for movies, get to meet their family, their friends, treat you like you're worth something. Take an interest in your hobbies, your interests. Stay the night at your house. Tell you they love you and all this shit. They value you. They don't value you. They value the fucking shell that you're in. But that'd be an entirely different life experience that you would have. If only you were just better looking. How crazy is that? You know, it's like I had to spend Valentine's Day alone, obviously, again. But to think that if I was just better looking, or younger as well, but better looking and younger, you know, it's like I would have had it when I was younger if I'd been better looking. I would have had some girl looking at me with respect and adoration and love and all that shit. Fake love, but, you know, if only I was better looking. What a bullshit fucking species we are, man. I hate it. Cope or rope. Guess that's the way of the future. But fuck it, I'm still going to try because I wanted, even though I know that this love is conditional is bullshit, I've just wanted that since I was a kid, you know. God, I hate going to bed and just being me. You know, I just wish I could watch, I just wish I had some girl to just sit there and lie in bed and watch like crappy 80s horror movies with, you know, or talk about anything. It's these people laugh at you. They have the audacity, call you entitled, laugh at you when you complain about being years alone, but they don't have to do it themselves. It's actual poison, I think. You know, it's actually like poisoning yourself, being alone, deprived of human connection for so long. It's not healthy. It's like having a bad diet. It's really bad for you. You know, people aren't meant to be like this. But yeah, I feel like if I don't know, I'll probably never have that. But I've wanted it ever since I was younger. It's not people. What I really hate about this whole celibate stereotype for us, it's like they think it's all about fucking. It's not. That's half of it. That is a big part. That's half of it. But it's also wanting that human connection, wanting to be accepted and have somebody who likes you and wants to be with you, spend time with and get to know and share a bunch of stuff with it. Just when you're missing that, you need that in your life. You fuck all these people out there who try and say, oh, it's overrated, or you don't need this. Oh, fuck them, man. They've just been burned. They've been burned and had bad experiences and shit themselves. They know themselves they wouldn't be able to handle it if they never had it themselves. They're just old and worn out and they like to judge other people. You know, complaining about it. But I think we all need that, man. But unfortunately, I'm just probably going to have to try and cope with hobbies and, I don't know, probably if I fix my health problem up, I'll probably live till like 38, 40, die with a bottle of alcohol and my motorbike by my bed. And that'll be something, I suppose. At least I'll spend a few good weeks lying in bed playing Xbox or watching movies. Yeah, I have my bike and my collectibles and stuff, and that'll be something, I suppose. And I'll probably die in a house where people will never find me for years. So at least I'll go undisturbed. So I suppose it won't be all bad, but I really wish I could have had a girl to go on holiday with. And I was doing this job in town. I was doing volunteering the last couple of days. I was doing like the Heart Foundation stuff because I do that each year, whatever now. So I was doing street collections, and this guy walks past with this little girl, and she's like so small, like barely walk, like tiny. As he walks past with her, like this little kid just like looks over at me, and like even though they like walk past like further up from me, this little kid's like just keeps looking back. It's like, yeah, it's looking back at me. I'm thinking, you know, like, God, why can't that be me, man? And like, man, I hate it. It just breaks my fucking heart like so bad. I'm like, I would give anything to be that. People talk, you get all these guys online, these pieces of shit saying, oh, I've got 5 girls on a rotation, or I've got $2 million and this flash sports car and this fucking... I don't give a fuck about some plastic car or your man-made money, or how much status you've got, or how many sluts you're fucking banging on a rotation. I don't give a shit about that. You're a piece of crap who lives a shallow materialistic life. To me, winning would be having one partner who values me, who I like, I'm attracted to, and they like me, and I would have a stable family life, and I would have a kid, you know. And it just pains me to think that I can't have that. You know, I remember I was at my old job. We had an upstairs area, and I'd like finished my lunch break, or I was finished from coming from the lunch area, or whatever. I was going down the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs there's this little kid. I don't know how old he was. It might have been about 3, 4, whatever. I was at the bottom of the stairs. Like, as I got down, this little kid stops. And he just looks at me. And then he just, like, reaches out his arm towards me. And then I reach out my hand, and then he grabs my finger. And then she's like, oh, it's kind of strange. He doesn't really like people much. You know, he's not really friendly. He's always shy. And then he sticks both his arms up at me like he wants to be picked up. Like, he's looking up at me, like, doing that thing, like, wanting to be picked up. And I was like, man, I just really wanted to pick him up, because he's, like, so cute. And I was like, it just made me think, like, I just wish I was a dad, like, so fucking badly. Because if I had a kid, like, had a baby or a little kid, I would take them to town. I'd carry them around with me, like, everywhere. You know, I would go out of my way to just go to crappy places, parks and amusement places that I wouldn't normally go to, just to take them around and show them places, you know. I'd love to be able to do that. You know, I remember, like, I've had a couple of friends who've had kids and stuff like that, and I remember picking them up as babies and stuff and just thinking, you know, like, why can't I have one of these of my own, you know? Like, I would put so much time into having, like, having experiences with them and trying to show them what I can of the world, you know. I don't want a fucking McLaren or a fucking $100,000 watch or millions of fucking dollars, or like some sluts who don't even like me as a person to bang. I just one person, and I'd like to have a kid that I could raise. That's basically it, you know. More than fucking anything. Just wish I could have been a dad so fucking badly. It pains me so much to think that my fucking dad got to have several kids and he didn't even want them. Like, you fucking selfish bastard, didn't even give a shit. This guy got to fucking have everything that I fucking wanted in life, and he didn't even give a fuck about partners. He didn't give a crap about his kids. And then these fucking people online will turn around and say to me, oh, you're entitled for that. Oh, you don't deserve to be a parent. Oh, you're genetic shit. Meanwhile, some useless fuck gets to have kids, doesn't even want them, treats his own partners like shit. Yet I'm the one who doesn't deserve it. You know, hate it so much, man. God, I would walk until my feet are bleeding, bloody, and just like until I fall over, if that meant that I could have like a family. You know, the lengths I would go to be able to do that. You know, just really, really bothers me, that I'll never get to have that in life. And in some ways it's a good thing. You know, I don't really like the way that people tell me I'm not good enough because of my genes and shit, but in reality, I think it's probably right. Because the last thing I'd want would be to have another son and he ends up real skinny and short, awkward looking. And some people could say, oh, you wouldn't love your kid. Of course I would, but I don't want him to suffer. I don't want him to suffer like I suffered. I don't want him to be an outcast in school and bullied. I don't want to have to bash his bullies' heads in and go to jail or get into trouble for that. You know, I don't want to have a defective kid, like a kid that's got something wrong with them physically. You know, I feel like it'd just be wrong to pass on crappy genes to your kid. You know, just wish I was physically better, and then I could have a kid. You know, just got a bad hand dealt to me genetically in life. Didn't mean for this video to be another complaining video, but fuck it, here we are. Anyway, this ended up way longer than I intended it to. And it is really late. I don't have to worry about things tomorrow because I don't get paid until tomorrow night. With one of my pays anyway. All my other pays come from odd jobs, clients and stuff, but anyway, I was gonna get up early, but I'm doing grocery shopping at night, so I don't really have a lot to eat during the day, much left anyway. I got some things, but sleeping in isn't gonna matter. Just wish I brought my food home with me. What I do have, I'm out of bread, I'm out of all my snack food. Fuck it, I'll grab my water, take it with me. But yeah, if you've managed to get through 2 hours plus of this video, wow, that's something. Most of you, I would imagine, would have dropped off long before this point. Have a good night. Hope you're all doing well. See you later.